welcome to Game Changers. Our first guest today is Alicia Wilson, Vice President of Community Affairs and Legal Advisor for Plank Industries. Wilson is responsible for shaping and promoting the interests of all Plank Industries operating companies by developing strategic initiatives that enhance its philanthropic and investment impact. Good gracious. Welcome to Game Changers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
So look, you are really a game changer. I'm looking at all these accomplishments and, you know, you don't start off wanting to be a game changer, but you become one. So when did this start? I mean, it started at Mervo for you, right?
Yes.
Mervo High. So tell us about your background.
Yeah, I grew up in East Baltimore, went to Mervo, actually went there not thinking I would have the opportunity to go to college.
Really?
And a very kind individual saw my report card in 9th grade, took me down the hallway, got me a fee waiver to take the SAT, and the rest is quite hysterical. I was able to get a full scholarship to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and was a Sondheim Scholar there, and then I was able to achieve a full scholarship to the University of Maryland School of Law. So it's, you know, sometimes quite humbling to think about, you know, a 14-year-old girl who didn't think, you know, she could go to college and then to be able to get to be a lawyer in this city.
So when did you start to feel the momentum or the you know, the kind of satisfaction of achievement? Was it before high school, or when did you start to, you know, like obviously you had great grades, so when did that achievement piece kick in for you? Sure.
I think it really kicked in high school. I set out a goal when I was in 9th grade to be valedictorian. And because I saw my brother graduated from Mervo, when I went to his graduation, I wondered who that girl was that was speaking at his graduation and why he didn't get to do that. And so I really believed that I could get, you know, gain and reach my goals, but I knew I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. And so when I saw people just helping me out in those like little things of pouring into me at really critical moments in my life, I could just see God blessing me and, you know, allowing me to move into different positions just based upon, you know, being able to be used in those various positions.
Now, it sounds like the family must have had that drive, because here you are at the graduation like, who is that and why is she there? I love that kind of piece of, you know, competition. Was that a part of your family in general?
Not really. I mean, I have 2 brothers, so I'm the only girl and the youngest. So it's a different sort of competition. I guess you got to fight against the brothers. But really my mom and dad wanting us to achieve great things, but also being realistic, but being dreamers. And I think all of those things combined, you know, I say my story isn't unlike many young people that grew up in this city. I had amazing praying parents, which made a huge difference in my life, and which I think, you know, when you talk about like momentum, I think it all started at home. If you think about where, you know, and I feel very honored that someone would call me a game changer. I think of others as game changers, but I think it all started with having a really sound family that helped to propel me.
Well, let's look at some of these achievements. I thought it was interesting. You were named the Harry S. Truman Scholar for the state of Maryland, the first student in the history of UMBC to be awarded this honor. That's amazing. And I'll tell the people what that is. It's a national award bestowed upon one college junior from each state that demonstrates exceptional leadership potential and who is committed to making a difference through public service. And so serving also has been a big part of your success and what you even do as a profession. When did that kick in? Was that from those praying parents?
I've always felt like service was work. Like I've had that, you know, hand in hand, that the complement of not just doing well, because it doesn't matter whether you're rich or whether you're not. You know, when the opportunity presents itself to give, that was what my parents taught us to do. And so I don't call it giving back, because we still lived in the same environment, just to give, to do good works. And so I think following their example helped me a great deal to, you know, embed that in just my life in general.
And so we go on to law school, you get active and do what you do. In 2016, at a city council legislative session, you drafted key pieces of legislation and served as the principal negotiator of the 2 largest community benefit agreements in the history of Baltimore, associated with the passage of a $660 million public financing project. Now, the negotiations of the community benefit agreements involved over 200 stakeholder groups representing tens of thousands of residents from across the city of Baltimore. Talking about giving back, serving, and connecting. That's a huge win for the community. And that speaks to, again, you taking, your skill set and not only benefiting, benefiting Baltimore, but benefiting the community of Baltimore. How did that feel to be a part of that huge project?
I really think of it like as a chance of a lifetime. Like when you think about like who were in the rooms when things happen, I really think that was like feel like it was a moment in time where I got to bring to bear all of the experiences that I had over the course of my life living in Baltimore, growing up here, but also to speak truth to internally within our team, but also externally to the community, and to be sort of this inside-outside advocate that helped to try to make sure that a project that is transformational for a landscape is also transformational for the people that live here in this city.
So, Alicia, what's your role in the Port Covington project?
After I negotiated the community benefits agreement, now I oversee the delivering on all the promises under those agreements. And, as a Baltimore resident, lifelong Baltimore resident, I get to see what happens to my community in real time from a large scale, the largest urban redevelopment in the country.
I love the fact that, again, they have you and you're in position, because I think that's what a lot of companies don't have, that real connection to the community, so that then the community can feel a certain connection and feel like, that
this is for me.
Covered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of the community, what's the vision for Baltimore? What do you think the future holds for Baltimore?
I think the future is bright for Baltimore. What I like about the name of this show is that while you have me on here as a game changer, I could name for you 10 other people that are game changers.
And I will ask you to give me the
that are going to propel this city forward, that I think are just true leaders. Some of them whose names will never get on television, they will never get in the paper, but are every day, day in and day out, are doing the good work behind the scenes to move this city forward. And so that's what keeps me hopeful for this city. There's so many people that have great pride in our neighborhoods, in our blocks, that are doing good work and are just as hopeful as me.
Well, when you came in, your positive energy was apparent. And how does that work? Because it seems like I know people who are game changers, but they're not the best people to be around. You know what I mean? You kind of have the balance between you come in with a smile, you obviously are super qualified. Where'd that formula come from? Was that always been there?
It's really from like just being thankful for where I am, the position I'm in, where I get to sit, what I get to say.
Wait a minute.
So, I think that, many times people ask me that question all the time. I'm happy because I can be. I smile because I can. And so just having the right perspective that even on your worst day, you're blessed. On your best day, you're blessed. And just keeping that positive perspective helps me just to be able to propel forward.
And that quickly, that young person who like you didn't think they'd even go to college, what would you say to them? Who's watching this show?
You have no idea. You can't even conceive of what is before you if you just try.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Alicia, thank you so much.
Thank
you are
you.
a game changer.
It's my pleasure.
I'm so glad to see you again.
Thank you.
And I know you're going to continue changing the games.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much. We're going to take a break and be back with more Game Changers.